Welcome back to another episode of r/slash I don't work here lady. Get ready for some laughs. We have some great stories to share with you, and make sure that if you like what you hear that you comment at the end as well as subscribe, because that definitely means a lot to us. Now this next story is a very interesting story posted by u/GENIUX1. I don't work here, Karen. I live here. Before I start, let me give you some backstory. I live in a medium-sized town that only has one notary public. FYI, notary public simply put, stamp legal documents. This comes to play as I happen to live right next to it. We share a common wall, and the two buildings look almost the same, but mine is on the corner. The only difference between the two is a sign on the notary, so I get a lot of knocks on my door. I keep my front door closed all the time for obvious reasons. Most of the time, people realize their mistake by the time I answer the door. Well, not this time. On one fateful day, I heard a knock on the door as I was leaving to meet the GF and take her out to a fancy place. I was just getting my phone and wallet when I heard a louder knock. By the time I get to the door, the knocking became a loud banging. As soon as I cracked open the door to peek out, the door swung open, and lo and behold, a wild Karen was at the doorstep. Karen, I've been trying to get in for the past couple of minutes. Are you even open? I'm in a hurry, and I'm late for my appointment. Pushes me aside and rushes into my hall. Me, excuse me, but you must be looking for the notary next door. This is a private property. Please leave. Karen checks my attire, as I was wearing a shirt and jeans. How stupid do you think I am? You're answering at the door dressed like that, and this isn't an office. I've been here twice. I want to talk to your boss now, you lazy prick. Me, listen, ma'am. I've already told you this is a private property, and the office you are looking for is next door. Please leave. Karen, now furious. How dare you talk to me like this? I can easily fire you on the spot. Now leave me alone and let me talk to your boss. Storms even further into my home. Me, we are in the dining room now. Look around, miss. Do you still think this is an office? I need you to leave immediately. Karen gets herself a chair and sits down. I had enough. If you don't get your boss, I'll do it myself. Gets her phone out and starts calling my boss. Hello? This is Karen speaking. Where are you? I'm in the office and your stupid clerk doesn't want to help me. I couldn't catch the whole conversation, but oh boy, you should have seen her face turn lobster red when she hung up. I got the finest butt licking apology when she realized her mistake and did the walk of shame out of my house. I still have a good laugh when I tell the story to others. Now, I would not be as calm as he was if someone came swinging open up at my door coming inside. We would have some issues right then and there because, number one, it's my house, my property, and you're going to come in here thinking that you own the place? Nope, that would not be happening. And this next story is posted by u/local librarian. Actually, Ken, I don't work here anymore, or for you. A friend of mine recently reminded me of this, the absolute best time I ever had dealing with a Karen in the wild. It happened about 30 years ago, so I'm going strictly by memory here. I also have no clue what the name for a male Karen is, so I'll call him Ken. Sorry this came out so long, but I think you'll enjoy it. I used to work for a chain convenience store, and back in the late 80s, it ran into financial trouble. Corporate decided that, to cut costs, they would sell off and shut down all locations that didn't have a gas station attached. This included my location. Once the stores were sold and closed, our positions would be eliminated and we'd be out of a job. Although I was the only assistant manager for our location, I was effectively running things as corporate had decided to pull my manager off to a different location, and the assistant would be good enough since the store was closing anyway. Now, on to the story. The cast. HH equals head honcho guys from corporate in charge of selling the store, slightly involved near the end. Ken equals entitled dude who bought our location, and of course, moi. Once Chain announced that they were closing the stores, it was no secret that we would be shutting down. Of course, us employees were still expected to give good customer service. That was usually no problem as we were in a good area and had pretty decent customers. They liked us, we liked them. But at the same time, we had no flips to give for the occasional Karens. It was nice being able to shut them down. What were they gonna do? Fire us? Good times. I wish I could remember specific instances, but 30 years ago. They all kind of run together now. The most entitled of all, though, was Ken. Turns out he bought our location from Chain and would be taking over in about a month and a half. During that time, I was working with HH guys from corporate doing things at the store level for the sale. Meanwhile, Ken came in a few times a week demanding that certain things be done as if he already owned the place. He wanted us to change displays, order specific products, etc. HH guys had already told me to ignore his demands, so all of them were met with some variation of, "No, Ken, I work for Chain, not for you, and this isn't your store yet," which sent Ken off into all of its huffing glory, yelling that I would be acting like that once he ran the place. Fast forward to the final day. All the other employees had worked their last shifts, and as acting manager, I opened the store that morning. HH guys arrived to go through whatever they needed, and shortly before noon, Ken showed up. Ken and HH guys went in the back, and once they came back out, we closed the store in order to finalize everything. HH guys and I cashed out the register for the last time, and most importantly, I turned over my key to the store. Once that was done, something close to the following happened. HH, "Okay, Ken, we're done. It's all yours now." They started packing up to leave. Me, "Just making sure. Chain no longer owns this location. Ken is in charge now, yes?" HH confirms, so I step out from behind the counter. Of course, Ken starts yelling. I think yelling was his default mode. Ken, "Where do you think you're going?" Me, "Home? What does it look like?" Ken, "You get back here and get your butt behind that counter where it belongs." Me, calmly, "No, I don't work for you." Ken, "What do you mean, no? I told you things would be different when I took over, and now you have to do what I tell you to do." Me, with a huge grin on my face, "You just don't get it, do you?" Ken looks confused. "You bought the store, you bought the inventory, but you did not buy the employees, and you sure as hell didn't buy me. So I'll say it one last time and try to get this through whatever functional cells may be floating around in your empty head. I don't work for you. Never have, never will. And since chain store number 1234 no longer exists, I don't work there anymore either. Since I'm no longer needed here," nod to HH guys, "I'm leaving." Ken starts sputtering and yelling incoherently, realizing he now has nobody to work the register as I walk to the doors for my last time. Of course, I can't help myself. As I'm pushing the door open, I turn around and give Ken my best customer service smile and a cheery, "Have a nice day." IRC correctly. The store didn't open again for a couple of days, at least, while Ken tried to hire some employees. But anyone from the neighborhood who had seen him treating us so badly before the sale wanted nothing to do with them. And even once it reopened, it didn't last long. And this next story is posted by u/Avistu. Home invasion. After posting a story a few days ago, I thought of another one. This one took place when I was 13. I grew up in France, and that's where I was living, on the first, U.S. second floor of a nice Haussmann building, a building from the mid to late 1800s when a guy named Haussmann renovated Paris. One day, must have been on the weekend because I was at home in the afternoon and not at school, the doorbell rings. I happen to be close, so I go and open the door. A woman is standing there. We'll call her Karen. Hello, I say, not recognizing her. She pushes me out of the way and walks in. I'm startled because I'm not used to strangers touching me, especially shoving me like that, but I figure she's a friend of my parents. At the time, I'm a pretty awkward teenager and don't dare ask her any questions. She looks around, sees the couch we keep in the entrance for putting our shoes on or taking them off, and sits on it with a sigh. I go get my dad, who was in the shower, but fortunately finishes up after hearing the doorbell. I knock on the bathroom door. He opens, mostly dressed except for his shirt and drying his hair. "Who was at the door?" he asks. "It's a woman. I don't know her," I explain. "She didn't say who she was and just walked in." I'm trying to be calm, but he can tell I'm shaken up. "She did what?" My dad is looking pretty annoyed at this point, and I realize he's not expecting any friend after all. He puts his shirt on and walks to the entrance, and I wait in the hallway out of sight. I'm too embarrassed to show my face again, but I want to know what's going on. "Hello, what can I do for you?" my dad says, polite but definitely upset. "Hi, I have an appointment," she answers. "You have an appointment in my house that allows you to just walk in past my daughter without introducing yourself?" he asks, his annoyance rising. I hear Karen huffing and gasping. "Well, you shouldn't let your daughter answer the door then. I thought she was the receptionist." "We don't have a receptionist in our home. Do you? Please go away." "But I have an appointment." "I don't know who you have an appointment with, but it's not us. Get out." There is a silence. Then, "You mean this isn't the lawyers?" My dad takes a deep breath. "No, it isn't. You can tell because there is no plaque on our door, and the intercom downstairs clearly says they're on the floor above us, which I'm sure they also told you when they let you in the building. Now get out." Then I hear the door open and close, and my dad walks back to me and pats me on the shoulder. "Next time it's someone you don't recognize, tell them the lawyers are upstairs," he says, and I make sure I do. Over the next few years that I lived there, people kept ringing at our door, but fortunately nobody else ever forced their way in like this. At the time, I had no idea there was a lawyer's office above our place, so this was a really weird experience. This has been TNA Top Notch Audio. 3 great funny stories. And my question to you is, which one of these stories are your favorites and why? Share your comments below, and also don't forget to subscribe so you can get notification of more videos in the future. Have yourselves a great day.